Ric Bucher is joining us. So it's Jokic in these playoffs has had one game under 20 points. It was a blowout win.
Yeah.
AD, who we fell in love with, had 6 games of fewer than 20 points. So the gap between Jokic and AD is substantial.
Sure.
Like it's not, and we think AD's great. Are we looking at here like an all-timer in terms, I said earlier, he's like Magic as a center. Mm-hmm. Magic was so layered that a bad game for Magic was like 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 13 assists. Like Jokic is almost bad game proof.
Offensively, yes. He's always going to give you something. I mean, that's where I think that the comparison's a little unfair because AD's greatest strength is at the defensive end and what he gives you there. And then the offense is a little bit like Bam Adebayo. Both of them, their versatility defensively is what makes them special. And then the fact that they can also score
occasionally
in the 20-25 range is the bonus. With Jokic, I mean, the reason that Miami won game 2 is because they just said, we're going to put Jokic in every pick and roll possible, and we're just going to test him. And combination of that and then single covering him at the other end wore him out and made him be sort of an exclusive player. So, but you can do that for a game, and then he's going to figure it out, and as he did in Game 3.
Yeah, that's. I was saying this. I like, and it's not a knock because most of the great stars that I've really loved have been domestic players. Your Magics, your Birds, your Dr. J's. Mm-hmm. But there is something about international players, and I'll give you an example. You and I went out to dinner the other night. I went abroad. Mm-hmm. And you've been abroad plenty of times. Whenever I go abroad, I'm a visitor. I'm more polite. I tip better. I'm more gracious. I'm a visitor. Mm-hmm. And that's just for 5 days.
Right.
I feel that foreign-born players come here, and there is a sense that they are visitors, and they're I don't see a lot of ego. I see a lot of gratitude. I don't want to leave Denver, Milwaukee. It is not a knock on our domestic players. But they have the same approach I think Americans do when they go overseas, which is we want to represent our country and be respectful. I do think foreign-born players, there is something there that, like after the game last night, 30-20-10, he's like, it's just a stat, I don't care.
Yeah.
That's how they view it.
Yeah.
They're all about the city and the team, and it's like, I think you can have both. I like our guys.
Yeah.
I like the flash.
Yeah.
And the ego.
Right.
But I do think foreign-born players add a different kind of unique element.
Well, especially the top players. Because I think that there's one, they're brought up in a system over there where the coach it's like a college coach here. They're in charge. Players, you're not being interviewed. You're not getting commercials. It's all about the team and the coach. And so they grow up with that mindset. The other part is it's just gratitude. We're spoiled. Right. As Americans, we are wildly spoiled
with everything,
and we take everything for granted. And it used to be that the Magic Johnsons and the Michael Jordans, like, they weren't handed everything as soon as they showed a whiff of ability to play the game where somebody's going, ooh, I just found a money train.
The prime example, like the Lakers have to pay AD early. Why?
Yeah.
You're hurt a lot. You're the last guy I want to pay early. There's this sense that, he's got a year left and a player option. Play out your contract.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if you were 26 and never hurt. If you're 30 and hurt a lot, I'm not paying you early.
Well, and the other part is just like, I mean, at this point, there's that, but it's like when you first get a young player, 19 years old, it doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter who's on the team, you're getting the prime parking spot, you're getting the prime seat on the plane, you're getting all the corporate sponsorship, you're getting all the deals right off the bat before you have proved anything. And now players have become accustomed to that.
Yeah.
Players here have become accustomed to that.
Right.
Over there, they're coming from, I mean, you just look at any of the guys that have come over.
Well, Giannis, it was so stark. When Giannis came over, I mean, my first takeaway wasn't his game. It was like, he's like a 12-year-old kid that's just happy to be here.
Yeah, exactly. And so, some guys, maybe Ja, would look at, I'm in Memphis. I'd rather be in L.A. or New York or Houston or wherever. Giannis looks at it like, you mean the Milwaukee Bucks want to make me a franchise player? He didn't care where it is. I mean, you can go down the line. The Pau Gasols, the Marc Gasols, any of the international players, they're happy that they're on an NBA team, and an NBA team feels that they are worthy of being built around. Yeah. So they don't expect all of the star treatment.
I'm not necessarily, for the record, I'm not really blaming domestic players because our system has created that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nike has made Nike's made our 14-year-olds feel like stars. Of course our players feel empowered because the shoe culture has created it, the TV networks, we talk about them nonstop. I'm not blaming the kid, I'm blaming the culture.
This is the issue I have with the old guys who complain about the new guys, like Michael or Magic or Bird or any of those guys. If they came up in today's atmosphere, they would have been treated the same way and they'd have the same expectations. You were 1,000% correct. Like, these players are a product of the culture that we have created. Not there's been some massive mindset change in the way guys approach it. We all do that. We acclimate to our conditions.
Well, I see this with politicians. We blame politicians for being polarizing. You're just a symptom of it. I remember Bill Clinton 15 years ago saying, we're becoming incredibly tribal. Mm-hmm. Liberals listen to this, conservatives listen to this. Mm-hmm. He was way out in front on this. Clinton said it's a problem, and not just for conservatives, it's a problem for liberals. We all go to our channel that tells us what we want to hear. And now 15 years later, it's like it's incorrectable. Yeah. It's the culture. So these wild politicians, it's just a symptom of what we've created, the culture of it.
Without question. I mean, I am a victim of it myself.
Yeah.
Because at this point, Colin, if it's not a 5-star restaurant that you're taking me to, I'm probably going to be busy. Yeah. So you've set the culture now.
Okay.
Where I have expectations.
So earlier today, I don't know if you saw it. I would frame it as brilliant. I came up with a trade suggestion.
I heard it.
Okay.
And man, I got to say, there was a little bit of heat here. You getting the pushback from J-Mac. I've never heard you that sort of animated or feeling like, J-Mac, you need to see it my way. You're usually kind of open to other people's reactions.
Today.
Not on this one.
Okay. So you and I know Miami's going to make a call to Dame.
Yeah.
Okay. Dame Bam Butler.
Yeah.
That Boston run? Bye-bye. Okay, so you can sit there and say this works. Marcus Smart leads them in assists until the playoffs. So they're telling you, we're not really comfortable him being a facilitator against the good teams.
Yeah.
So go find an offensive-minded guard who, by the way, won't give you 75 games. But Tatum and Brown do.
Don't need to.
Tell me Paul to the Celtics, Smart to Phoenix is not interesting.
Before I say it's maybe the smartest trade that you've ever come up with, can you give up the Jordan Poole? Can you acknowledge that the Jordan Poole idea wasn't one of your best?
That one, I'll be honest. I had a cold. I had a lot of cough syrup before the show. I was off my game. That one sucked. This one, though, it's not terrible.
No, it makes I haven't looked at the numbers, so I don't know how feasible it is.
Our guys looked at the numbers. Somebody's got to send somebody else a bench player or something like that.
Okay. I don't know that it's a straight up trade. If I'm Boston, I want a little something extra because I don't know how long Chris Paul's going to be there. This is a short-term thing. But it makes a ton of sense for both teams. Marcus Smart, he doesn't have to be the same kind of facilitator with Phoenix because you've got KD and Booker that are going to handle the ball most of the time anyway, and they're going to be very aggressive in doing it. KD and Booker are a completely different package than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And defensively, he gives you what Chris Paul once upon a time could.
Yes.
Right? And he can space the floor a little bit with, he's streaky as a three-point shooter. But he brings the same sort of Chris Paul attitude and that we're going to play hard at both ends. And conversely, you don't have to play Chris Paul a whole lot. You can save him for the playoffs.
J-Mac.
Because you've got Derek White and you've got Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon's a starting point guard in this league.
Yeah.
Most of the time, on almost any other team.
You're bringing Chris Paul for 2 years.
Yeah.
And to get a ring.
Yeah.
That's all you're bringing him for.
I like it. And I think the demand that he would put on, like it would be a little shock to the system for Jason Tatum.
Yep.
And Jaylen Brown.
He'd get after him.
And him geting after them is a little bit different than Marcus Smart.
Yeah,
because he
he's
comes
a Hall
with
of
bigger
Famer.
credentials. Exactly. So I'm with you, and J-Mac, were you just pushing back just
to do
push back?
radio?
It's early. You got to let these things marinate for a little while.
You never let anything marinate. You are like the fast food guy. Like as soon as you get a tasty morsel, you are chomping on that. Are you kidding me?
I
You're
guess
not Mr.
The concern here would be Marcus Smart is usually guarding their best defensive, the opposing team best offensive guard.
Yeah.
That will now rely on Jaylen Brown. So Tatum will have to guard someone a little bit better. Because Chris Paul, we know he's not going to be around all the time. Right, Rick?
Right.
You can't count on him in the clutch.
But you know what?
Derek White's a very
Derek
good
White's
defender.
good.
And they have a rim protector, and they have Tatum. So they've got a Derek White, Tatum, rim protector. They're fine defensively.
So fine. Why doesn't
Wait a minute,
Boston
who's the
do
rim
this?
protector?
Why would they? What,
Well, who
what
says
is-
they're not? I guarantee you right now they're watching the show, and they're bringing people in a big room, and they're considering this. This thing may be done by 4 o'clock. Okay, Bucher. Are you on the show after us today?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right,
Well, no, the 2 shows after.
2 shows. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get lost on it.
Yeah.
All right, Ric Bucher. Hey, we can go out.
That's it?
Okay, I'll give you one more question. I give you 5 questions.
You know what? It was so.
Hold
I'm
on.
here just to supplement your trade idea. That's why I was here. Wow.
Okay, one more. I'm hearing this.
Yes.
That is Michael Malone a great coach?
Are you hearing this? Are you hearing it from my right?
Okay. So is Michael Malone a great coach when you talk to people in the league, or is this just anybody with Jokic? Well, how is he viewed?
No, he's a great coach. He's a good to very good coach.
Okay.
What he has done is the same thing as what Eric Spoelstra has done as far as creating a culture. I don't know if he's quite as what Jokic gives him. I mean, look, he's a defensive coach.
Yeah.
And he will get guys to play hard, and he will get them in the right positions. You can't teach what Jokic does. He's smart enough to know, let me give Jokic the latitude to make decisions. And the same with Jamal Murray. Both of them, and it was on full display in this last game. Like their creativity and ability to read each other, that's not play calling. That's like 2 great basketball players being able to read the defense and knowing what they want to do. You just got to put them in the right place and motivate them. And that's what Michael Malone does.
Their length is
Well, that's why I picked it. I picked the series in 5 because I was like, they can play with the same discipline and effort. They've demonstrated that, and they're just bigger. I mean, they can shoot the same, they can drive the same, they can ball handle the same, and they're bigger. Sometimes it comes down to as simple as that.
No, they are. And it's also, they had won 7 straight games before they lost in game 2, and they led that going into the 4th by 8.
Yeah,
when you rely heavily on points in the paint and twos, you kind of have, Miami has these wild fluctuations.
Right.
Denver gives you the same damn game every night.
Well, and Miami has to get out in front and make it a 3-point shooting contest to beat Denver. That's the one. Spoelstra's been great at finding the one strength in every series that his team might have over the other team. They might not be better overall, but he'll find that one element that we're better at, and then he will just milk it for all it's worth. In this series, it's 3-point shooting. But you can only do that if you get out in front. If Denver gets a lead, they're comfortable trading 2s for 3s. Now it puts pressure on Miami to have to make 3s. Changes the whole dynamic.
Okay, hey, can we throw another one at you? Oh, what do you want,
Yeah.
Jim?
So, Rick, Michael Malone arrived in Denver at the same time as Jokic, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Jokic was a 2nd-round pick. There was a Taco Bell commercial airing when he was drafted.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Jokic is nothing without Malone, but in some world, like, Jokic is what he is because of Malone. Jamal Murray was drafted lottery, like everybody liked him, but he's emerging as a superstar. Like, it's not like Malone parachuted in and took these guys to the next level. He's been with them throughout their careers.
Well,
That's why I'm saying
he's a very good coach.
is he one of the 4 best coaches in the league right now on the Mount Rushmore
boy, that's
current coaches?
Kerr, Spoelstra, Pop. There's only one space left.
Hold on, Rick. Pop right now?
Look, there's some coaches right now that like Will Hardy in Utah.
Yeah.
I have immense respect for.
Ty
I think
Lue.
he's going to be a great coach. Ty Lue is I'm putting Ty Lue.
So am I. 4.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is the difference. I got to put Ty Lue ahead. I'm putting Ty Lue ahead of Michael Malone.
Yeah, Ty
Ty
Lue.
Lue's coached LeBron, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George.
God.
Yeah, okay.
Team
fine me.
without
Okay, yeah,
without
no big deal.
without Kawhi, without Paul George, he got the Clippers to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
So
That was
if
what,
Michael Malone
Lou Williams'
without
team?
Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, did he get? Oh no, he didn't. He had Jokic, and they didn't get out of the first round against the
made-
Golden
Let
State
Let me
Warriors.
ask you this,
So,
J-Mac. Find me all the coaches who have a ring with no great players. There's none ever.
you know what I hate about this?
Probably correct.
How did we end up like we're bagging on
Yeah,
Michael
exactly.
Malone at
Yeah.
this point?
No,
I'm blaming you.
Exactly.
I'm
You
blaming.
guys aren't giving him the props.
No.
It's all Spoelstra's the
I'm
greatest.
blaming
Spoelstra's
you
great.
because you brought it up and you oversold it. We wouldn't have to pull back the reins if you weren't out there in front.
Yeah.
Give
Damn it,
Malone his
J-Mac,
props.
you did it
Stop giving
again.
Popovich props
This
for
is
winning
what I
with
mean.
Tim Duncan and David Robinson.
Let it marinate. Let Michael Malone's success marinate
That would be
before
like
you start
you going
putting it
out.
up there on the top shelf.
That would be like you going out and saying, prime example, Justin Herbert is the greatest quarterback in the league. He and I are like, whoa, he's like 5, and then we look like we're bashing Justin
now
Herbert.
we're killing Justin. We don't like Justin Herbert.
I'm
we're
just
haters.
asking you where Malone ranks currently in the NBA.
5. I
among
said
coaches.
5.
Yeah, that's
Right?
That's what?
Rick. Okay, Rick.
What?
What has Popovich done since Tim Duncan retired?
Okay, but hold on a second.
I mean, we're not doing resumes here. We're doing coaching in the league
no,
right
we're
now.
talking about the ability to coach. I mean, you got to have players to be able to coach to go
Certainly.
somewhere.
Since when is the 5th best coach in the league a bum?
He's about to win a title with
Who's
the
okay?
first time in Denver history with
Let's-
Jokic and a no All-Star
Wait a minute.
Jamal Murray.
Jokic is a 2-time MVP.
He is,
you,
correct.
You said that like he's,
He didn't win the MVP
he's
this year because
Caleb Martin.
guys like you were pumping up Joel Embiid for the last 3 months.
Oh, Lord.
And the other
By
network
the way,
and all these bozos.
I'll give you an
these
example
meatballs.
of how bad-
Joel Embiid.
What would you? You know what? You're just shooting wildly now. Trying
Yeah,
to
you know what you're
defending
doing?
Michael Malone
You know what
and
you're
the
doing?
best team in the NBA.
You're doing what a bad GM does. Ready, fire, aim. You're firing before you're aiming. Ready, fire,
Okay,
aim.
so Michael Malone, 5th best coach in the league. Let's just file that away,
Oh,
ladies
my
and gentlemen.
So think about this. Who is the 5th best NFL coach to give it some perspective?
Yeah.
So Andy Reid, Belichick, or really
McVay.
Kyle Shanahan, Pete Carroll's in
Maybe
that thing.
Mike McDaniel.
Sean Payton. So I'm
Sean
saying,
Payton.
okay, Sean. So that's your 5. So if Sean Payton's your 5th best coach, that's a Hall of Fame coach. Mike Tomlin's not, probably 6. Harbaugh. So we're saying Mike Malone's
Harbaugh 6th?
well, he's up there.
A little disrespectful.
If you're the 5th best
You got to
coach,
start giving guys more props than this. Come
listen.
on.
Tomorrow
Wait a
I'll
minute.
talk about NHL
He's
coaches.
the 6th best coach in the NFL, and that's disrespectful.
John Harbaugh? He's one of the most tenured coaches in the league.
Okay,
Who
it's-
does more with less? Who made Lamar Jackson?
Okay, so how high do you want to put him?
I think he's probably top 3 or 4.
Oh,
Okay,
we
so
have
who-
him 5. You have him
so who are
4,
you
and it's
dropping?
outrageous.
Okay, here we go. No, this is real. Kyle Shanahan, who you have 3, you said? Now I hear you say 3?
Well, I said
I hate doing
Andy
these lists off the
Reid,
cuff because you're going to forget
Belichick,
somebody.
Pete Carroll. They're all great.
Yeah, Pete Carroll. Oof.
So
John
I have
Harbaugh being
Shanahan.
6th is a
By the
compliment.
way, McVay's got a ring.
Like,
He's
easy.
4. Well, what am I going to do with McVay? He's got
Well,
a ring.
again, one ring. Harbaugh has a ring.
One
Okay.
ring.
They each have
Wait a
one.
minute, but hold on a second. Like, what has Harbaugh done where 6th is an insult?
Oh, I don't know. Jeez.
Huh?
I mean, let's see. Joe
They're
Flacco.
consistently
that's right.
good.
Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Flacco, and then turns Lamar Jackson from end of the
How long
first
ago
round
was
pick
that?
into an MVP.
Mike Montgomery did that.
See, again, you make us badmouth a coach we both
now
like.
we're killing. We have to kill people because you're putting them
You don't
up
have
way
to
too
kill
high.
anyone, but Shanahan above Harbaugh. That feels like a bit of a slight. No?
I think they're both excellent. They're both great coaches.
So we're splitting hairs on greatness. Is
No,
that what
you
the problem
know,
is?
you're what
I'm
you're
not.
doing
I'm
is
definitive.
You literally here's what he just did this. He comes out and says, "Godfather's the best." Not God. Yeah. The Godfather's the best movie ever, and I would say it's top 6.
I mean, Godfather 2 might be better, but anyway.
And because we would say Godfather is 6, you think we're bad mouthing Godfather.
Yeah.
We're not. Goodfellas is better, but I like Godfather too.
Goodfellas is
Goodfellas
that's
is better.
one thing I can agree with you on. Goodfellas is
Goodfellas the best. That's the best mob
That's
movie
the one
ever.
thing. That's the one thing you
Let's
can
go back
agree
to your
with.
Godfather 2 take. Oh, dear. What was that?
Oh, we'll get back to that.
Goodness gracious. Let's just put a pin in
Anybody
that.
You're not
for
putting a top
Godfather
10?
3?
That's an insult.
Godfather 3. There you go. Yeah.
Okay, we got to take a break here. I'm so back on spots, Ric Bucher.